Hi guys, today I thought I would do a video I feel like I haven't done in a while, and that is my movie, TV, book reviews, kind of just what I've been watching, reading, all that good jazz. Of course the list is quite long because what else are we going to do than stay home and watch TV? Actually I feel like I actually did one of these like a month and a half ago, but who knows what time it is anymore. So I have a list here, I'm going to run through it. I'm not going to get too out of hand. If you have questions about one, like if you're like, oh, I like this show, do you think I would like that? You can leave a comment down below. I just wanted to do this because the list is getting so long. So we're going to do a speed round. I already talk fast, so slow down the video if you have to. So number 1, Skeleton Twins. It's a movie with Bill Hader? Is it Hader or Hatter? I don't know. And Kristen Wiig. It's a dark comedy. Very good acting. A little slow. It's pretty much like they're twins, I think. Yeah, they're twins and they're both going through really, really bad points in their lives, and they kind of are reconnecting, and it just sounds boring, I know, but it is like a dark comedy, so it's not like a laugh out loud kind of comedy. I feel like it wouldn't keep you awake if you were tired, but it's a good whatever kind of movie. I don't think I would seek it out again, but if it was on and there's nothing else on, I'd watch it, you know what I mean? But one thing I did want to mention is that it has a lot of mental illness kind of talk in it, so if that's a trigger for you, maybe don't watch it. But I do feel like it actually really realistically shows mental illness. It's not making fun of it, it's not shining a light on it like other things do. It's actually pretty realistic in my opinion. This is a movie called The Nines. It's with Ryan Reynolds, Melissa McCarthy, and Octavia Spencer. Yet, have you ever heard of it? Probably not, because it's terrible. It makes zero sense. It's really weird. Pretty much it's Ryan Reynolds. Someone breaks up with him. He's a famous actor and he pretty much has a mental breakdown, and Melissa McCarthy is his what's it called, manager kind of, and it's just really, really weird. I couldn't make it through, what did I write down? 20 minutes in, I turned it off because it was just too weird. Next, Afterlife Season 2 with Ricky Gervais. It's his show where he directs and stars, writes, the whole thing. It's on Netflix. If you haven't watched Season 1, it's good. Season 1 is definitely funnier. I feel like it was more shocking. The comedy, it's a dark comedy, but Season 1 was more whoa, you didn't think he was going to go there and then he went there. Season 2, because you already know what the comedy's like, it's not as shocking. Season 2 is actually a lot more sad. It's a lot more dark than comedy. Season 1 I feel like was more comedy than dark. I just feel like it's this character in Season 1 who was going through a rough time, so he was mean to everyone, and now in Season 2 he's trying to be nicer to everyone, so it's less funny, which is sad but true. It was still really fantastic though. It's a really quick watch. Okay, then The Kitchen House is a book I read. It's really, really good. It is from 2 points of view. It takes place over about a decade, maybe more, in the 1800s, and it's the experience of a whole family kind of slaves during that time. It really humanizes the experience of when we say the word slaves. We just group them into a group, but it really humanizes them, and I think that it would be great if it was turned into a movie, although they would have to cut out so much. It'd have to be a 3-part movie, to be honest. Actually, I think it would be better as a miniseries. Oh my god, someone picked that up. Oh, this is so good. I think it's a really good book that high schoolers should read. I could see myself reading in high school and actually really enjoying it. I couldn't put it down after about the first quarter. I do want to say that. The first quarter kind of was really slow, but once you pass that first quarter, it was fantastic. It ends in a way that you don't expect it to from the beginning, although there is a preface in the beginning of the last part. It's kind of like how a movie, they show you the last scene and then they go from the beginning all the way until you catch back up, kind of like that. It was just really, really good. I was really impressed with it. The ending was really good. I was shocked when I found out it was written by a white woman. She can do research, but I just felt like the voices of these characters was really authentic. It made me want to read more from this actress, from this writer, but I feel like what I looked up from her wasn't of interest to me, which was weird. Okay, moving on. Dead to Me Season 2. Oh my god, so good. They were picked up for a final Season 3. I can't wait. If you haven't watched Dead to Me, watch it. It's another kind of dark comedy. It's just so good. Christina Applegate and I can never remember the other girl's name, and James Marsden. Is that his name? Or Marsders? I can never remember. But it's fantastic. If you haven't watched it, there's only 2 seasons on Netflix, so watch it. It's worth it. It's definitely a kind of show that I feel like anyone could enjoy. Next is a movie, Dangerous Lies. has Monica's dad from Friends and Camila Mendes from Riverdale. She's married and she's poor, but I thought that's right. She's poor, but her clothes are always perfect and they fit her perfectly, and she never wears the same thing twice. Just love how movies do that. It's slow at the beginning again. The acting isn't fantastic. It feels like a step up from a Lifetime movie, kind of. But it's definitely better than a Lifetime movie, I'll put it that way. But it has, like, I could see maybe Lifetime taking it on, but then Netflix was like, no, we'll do it, and we'll do it better. It's like I said, it's not the best movie ever, but it's good. It's like a mystery. It's about like manipulation and trust, and it's really interesting, but it's kind of predictable. I think it's worth the watch. It's a Netflix original. Next, TV show on Netflix, Hollywood. Holy smokes, I love that time period. What is it, the 40s? 50s? Fantastic show. It's like a retelling of Hollywood, like the beginning of Hollywood, movie stars and things like that, and it's literally a retelling of it, how it should have happened, how it could have happened, if things were different. It is based on real people and fictional characters. It's pretty much a whole studio in Hollywood, and actors and people, the director, the writer, all these people who work on the show, and it really shows it from a different perspective than what you've seen before. It deals a lot with sexuality, race, and it kind of just shows, like, if only these things happened, how much better the world would be. It's a nice, like, kind of uplifting show. It's quick. I don't know if there's gonna be a season 2, but I would totally watch it if there was. I think if you like time period pieces, like Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, you really like this one. Never Have I Ever. Oh, right, that show by Mindy Kaling. It's her show on Netflix, right? I think it's on Netflix. That was really good. It was really cute, kind of cheesy. It's definitely for teenagers, but I watched it and I thought it was really well made. It was funny. The main girl also, like, I think she was cast as this for her first role. She did fantastic. I actually cried watching it a lot. It had really good acting in it, and if they have a season 2, I'd watch that. The half of it is a movie starring Leah Lewis, or she plays George on Nancy Drew on CW. It's in like an indie teen rom-com, and that's also a Netflix original. I do think the actors look way too old to be playing in high schoolers. It's definitely slow, it's sweet, and it features kind of something you see in a lot of teen movies, like high school couples that like really don't belong together, they don't get along at all, but they've been together for like 2 years. I just don't get that. Oh, I wrote this, I don't know why. There's a guitar scene that's like random, and just like someone starts to play the guitar out of nowhere, and it didn't need to be tuned and just sounded perfect. So that was something I just thought was interesting. But it was a cute movie, like a very indie rom-com for teens. I think that it was cute and good, like I enjoyed it, but it definitely was like super slow. It wasn't like a big, like, exciting movie. Mr. Right, it was on Netflix. It's not a Netflix original, but it has Anna Kendrick and Sam Rockwell. Anything with Sam Rockwell is worth watching, in my opinion. He made this movie. I think without him, this movie would have been complete garbage. They wouldn't even have brought it to consumers to watch. It is pretty much Anna Kendrick and Sam Rockwell start dating, but Sam Rockwell is an assassin. He falls in love with her, and people are out trying to kill him, so they pretty much have to run from killers, and that's pretty much what the movie is. Like, he's trying to court her and to run away from killers at the same time. It's cheesy, and the dialogue is really bad, but I feel like being around Sam Rockwell made Anna Kendrick a better actress. I feel like by the end of the movie, she was a little bit better. I feel like she can do really well and not really well. Like, she goes back and forth in movies, but he's always good. The plot was really random. There wasn't, like, much build-up. It just kind of, like, things started happening. When I wrote this, the movie wasn't garbage, but it was garbage adjacent, and if he wasn't in it, it would have been full garbage. There's that. Okay, Like a Boss with Tiffany Haddish, Rose Byrne, and Selma Hayek. I don't know. The commercial for this made it seem like a big, like, female empowerment, like, movie. It was more like, let's have women take down other women, and I didn't think that was great. You can tell what's going to happen from the first 5 seconds, pretty much. That's why I actually wrote that in my notes. I wrote, it's a women empowerment movie, but the bad guy is also a woman, which I just felt annoyed by. It's really quick. I think I rented it for $1, and it wasn't really worth it, but, you know, like, it was fine. Okay, Bombshell with Margot Robbie, Charlize Theron, Nicole Kidman, the one kind of based on the Fox News thing, right? Loosely based. I think that Margot Robbie's character didn't really exist. It's like they made her up. The only thing I didn't like about it from the beginning was that it's narrated. I'm not a fan of that. I also didn't like that it made Roger seem like a victim. Like, I didn't like that either. It felt too short. I wrote that. It felt too short should be like this epic story that it was in real life. Like, it just felt like they took what happened, made a movie of it, and I can't believe it was nominated, to be honest, for, like, Academy Awards and stuff. Okay, Joker, fantastic, very realistic in my opinion to what mental health can do to you if it's not treated, which is just horrific. It's really sad. He totally deserved the Oscar for it. My dad actually watched it last night for the first time. It really took a turn. I love the music choices. I don't know if they're making a second one, but I would watch it if they did. That movie was good. I would totally watch that again. Joker was fantastic. Knives Out, another really good one. I had really low expectations for Knives Out because usually when you have that many famous people in a movie, it's like just really not great. Like think about like Mother's Day, New Year's Eve, all those. And it's kind of like a Clue type thing, like who done it kind of thing. But it was so, I was blown away by how good it was. It got me from the beginning to the end. It's not boring at all. All the actors worked really well together and they're very talented. Chris Evans is gold. I love his character in this. He was really not in much of it, but I love him. It was just a lot better than I expected. If you haven't watched Knives Out, watch it. It's so good. Belle, this was a really good movie. It's actually kind of old, not kind of old, but like it's not a new movie by any means. It's based on a true story, which I didn't know until after I watched it, and that made it even better. It looked really good from the preview. Malfoy, actually, from Harry Potter's in it. He plays another turd character. It takes place in the 1700s. It's pretty much a girl, she's a black girl, and her father is white, and I guess her mother died, and he takes her in, but he has to go off to war, so he leaves her with like his aunt and uncle, and they raise her as their own, even though they're white, and they love her and everything, but like she can't eat with them at the main dinner table. Like if they have guests over, she has to go hide, and like it's really frustrating because even though she's this like really great person and she knows how to play the piano and has all these amazing talents, she can't do what her other cousin can do because her other cousin's white. It's a love story, and it's just super interesting. I didn't know any of this happened, and I think this movie deserves a lot more credit than I've never heard anyone talk about it, and it's fantastic. I don't even know where I heard of it. I think it was like in a BuzzFeed list, and I was like, ooh, I like her, I'm gonna watch it. Little Women, the new one from 2019. For people who are supposed to be playing sisters, all their accents sound so different. It jumps around in time, which is kind of annoying. At certain points you can tell like when the timing is supposed to be different, and other points you can't, which is kind of annoying. They all look too old to be playing the characters they're playing in like the earlier parts. Amy is way too old and her voice is so deep for someone who's supposed to be such a young character for most of it. What's her name? Oh, I can't remember the actress's name. She's like super famous now. She's gorgeous, but she was too old to be playing this role in my opinion. Like she did it fantastically, and like if they just raised the age of the character, I think it would have been perfect. But I just think she just seemed too old. And she looked the same throughout the whole thing while everyone else kind of changed a little bit. Acting was good, but definitely the original was just better. Like, it just was. Like, I don't know why they would remake it. I just don't think it required a remake. Just because they had a bunch of actresses that could fit the part, like, it didn't feel necessary to me. The Morning Show, that was really good. It took me so long to watch it, but it was so good. With Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon, we know they're both great, but, like, it's so interesting because Reese Witherspoon, I recently watched In Little Fires Everywhere, and her character in this is like the total opposite. She looks like she lost 15 years off her age. It's just like such a different character, and she does it so well. It's just crazy to see her do all these crazy different characters. Like, you look at like Elle Woods, you look at the one from Little Fires Everywhere, and then you look at Morning Show, and it's like across the board. Jennifer Aniston did really well too. I just don't feel like that character is super out of her comfort zone, but she did great. Steve Carell, of course, is in it, who's amazing. The cast, like I wrote, the cast is pure gold. The cast, whoever cast that show, did a good job. After the second episode, it kind of like died down a little, like things just started happening like this rather than like this, if that makes sense. But it really shows the depth of people, and the girl from Belle, who I was just talking about, whose name I still can't remember, she's also in it as a pretty important character. She's so underrated, to be honest. But I did like that one thing that wasn't in it. There wasn't much of a love story to it. Like, there was minor little bits and pieces, but like it really wasn't. It had no real like, oh, you're rooting for this couple or anything. Next, Lovebirds on Netflix, which is a movie with Issa Rae and Kumail. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I just don't want to butcher it. It's really, really funny. She's stunning. They're both very talented, and it's just fun and easy to watch all the way through. Like, it's not a fantastic movie. You can kind of tell what's going to happen, but it also kind of like goes off in another direction. I'd recommend it if you want like a comedy to watch. It's really cute. Next, I tried to watch Steve Carell's new show, Space Force. couldn't make it through the first episode. I just didn't find it funny, found it really forced, didn't like it at all. So Sweet Magnolias, which is with Cheyenne from Reba and the woman from Drop Dead Diva, and it's very cheesy, very Hallmark type, like Hallmark movie type of TV show, but I actually thought it was pretty good. It went a different road. Like the first couple episodes you think are one way, and then it kind of shifts. It was filmed in the same town, Covington, Virginia, where Vampire Diaries took place. It's literally filmed in Mystic Falls. I noticed that in the first 5 minutes of the show, so pat myself on the back. But that's interesting. It's weird to see a different town in Mystic Falls. Like, if you're a Vampire Diaries fan, it'll like freak you out a little. Jamie Lynn Spears is in it, which is actually the reason I wanted to watch it in the first place, because I haven't seen her in anything in ages. I actually, from the preview I watched, I thought it was a movie, but it was a show, and that's fine. It was a really quick show, and I think it is getting picked up for season 2, which is good, because I actually really liked it. There's a lot of southern charm, but there's diversity, which I felt, I don't want to say it feels forced, but it kind of does. Like, it just seems like the way, like, there's a couple in this town that is mixed race, and actually multiple, which is great, and you want to see that on TV, but it just seems like in a southern town like this, that just really wouldn't be accurate. I mean, I don't know, I don't live in the South, but, like, it just, like, they don't talk about it. Like, I feel like race is off the table. Like, they just wanted people to watch the show and enjoy it without thinking about these kind of, like, harder topics. Maybe they did, and it's nice to see that diversity, but I feel like you need to talk about it, though. Like, maybe that's just me. I'm sure other people are, like, happy that they didn't talk about it because it's, like, being forced down your throat, but, like, things like that need to be forced down your throat, so that's just my opinion. The writing is really bad. The accents get better after the first episode. You just get used to them, and the plot, like I said, I wrote the plot is a little numb. Like, it's just kind of like la-di-da-di-da, but the ending got really, really good, like, by the last 2 episodes, so I'm excited for season 2. Okay, Nightcrawler. That's a Jake Gyllenhaal movie with Riz Ahmed, who's fantastic, and it's really good. I didn't expect, like, it's pretty dark. It's really dark, actually. It's pretty much Jake Gyllenhaal is kind of like a scammer. Like, he does all these, like, jobs just to get money, and then he finds out that you can film, like, car accidents and crimes and things like that and make really good money off selling it to news stations. So he kind of does it on his own and hires Riz Ahmed as a intern, but he's, like, just so selfish that he doesn't want to pay him well, and he just, like, he's only out for himself and to boost himself up, and he's very manipulative and cruel, and he just, it's hard to watch a main character who you have absolutely zero sympathy for. So that's kind of one thing that made it kind of hard to watch. But you just, like, you're not rooting for him at all in any way. Like, there's plenty of movies that follow a villain, kind of like the Joker, but, like, you're just not any part of you just root for Jake Gyllenhaal's character in this. And I was surprised because he usually plays, like, the good guy, so I was impressed with how he did in this. But, like, there's so many times where I'm like, I want him to be hit by a bus and die in pain. His character was just so bad. It was a really messed up movie, but it was good. Next, Run on HBO. I'm so mad it didn't get picked up for season 2. So if you want a really quick show, I think there's, like, 7 episodes on HBO. But it's with, I can't remember her name. She is the nurse from Nurse Jackie, but not the main one. And it's also with, did I write his name? I did not. The guy from About Time with Rachel McAdams. And he's also from Harry Potter and a ton of other stuff. But he's in this, and it's really good. It's pretty much it's really subtly funny. Like, I laughed out loud a few times, but, like, it's a joyous show. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is in it. I think she actually might have written, no, I can't remember, but she was in it, and it's just a really clever show. It's pretty much about this couple who broke up, and they had a kind of a pact that, like, if either one of them texted the other one run, the word run, and the other one texts back within 24 hours and says run, they drop everything from their lives and meet each other at this one area and go off together. And that's pretty much what happens, but it's kind of like what happens after that. Like, they didn't have a plan. They just kind of went and did it, and now they're like, now what? And they don't know what's going on in the other's life and stuff, and it's just very, very interesting. So I really recommend it. I think they had really good chemistry. It felt really authentic. I wish it had a season 2, but it didn't. And, the guy from In the Dark. If you watch In the Dark on CW, which is super underrated too, the really horrible guy from it is in it too, playing another horrible character. Okay, next, A Secret Love. It's a documentary on Netflix about a lesbian couple in their 80s. they're really old. But it's about how they hid their relationship for years and just told people that they were friends. And it's just a really beautiful story. It's like their whole history, their family, when they told their family. And it's hard not to smile through it. It's just a really beautiful documentary. The final season of 13 Reasons Why. I think part of me was like, this is the worst season yet, but I think season 3 was the worst season ever. Like, they could have cut season 3 out of it altogether and it would have been better. I think season 3 was the absolute worst. It tried to make Bryce seem like a victim and it was annoying. The acting was good, the story was intriguing. I think season 1 is 100% worth watching. Season 2 sort of worth watching. Season 3 just they should have just tossed that one out. I feel like season 1 and 2 were more realistic, and then season 3 just got ridiculous. It just got really Pretty Little Liars over the top. This season felt kind of like that, but they needed an ending, and I think they did it. It was kind of predictable. About halfway through, I noticed that they never even mentioned Hannah, who was the main part of the entire show in season 1, which I thought was interesting. One thing I didn't like was that they talk about mental health so much. People are having breakdowns, and they never bring up really medication. They never talk about putting someone on medication because they're having mental breakdowns. And I didn't think that was smart. I think that medication is very helpful, especially in the situations that these characters were going through this season. They just didn't even bring that up as a possible option, and I think that that's kind of irresponsible. They did a lot of police brutality things, when people would protest, police being completely over the top with high school students. So I thought they handled that kind of well, and how schools in the country in general handle school shootings, they handled that. The show made it pretty realistic and really sad, but it did show you, I haven't been in high school in years, and it showed me kind of what these kids really go through, and it's really terrifying. The end of it is really sad. I gotta tell you, I was bawling my eyes out. My favorite character, I won't tell you who it is, but my favorite character, just if they didn't end the show completely the way they ended this season, I don't think I could have watched the next season. Also mentioned, Lieutenant Dan from Forrest Gump is in it. So there's that. Okay, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. I don't know why I haven't seen this until now. It's pretty much how the Holocaust affected children back then, whether they were children that were Jewish or not. And it's really, really heartbreaking, and it's just so sad to see how kids just don't carry hate with them, and even when they learn it, it's they don't get why. And it was very hard to watch, but also I think it was very important to watch. I think there's just so many parallels to America right now, and it's just so sad that all of this stuff happened, and we've seen it and we've learned about it, but we're just letting it happen again. I wrote down, we can learn more from children than they can learn from us, which is 100% true. Someone on IMDb said, when I was looking up reviews, said that you shouldn't watch it with anyone under 16, and I totally disagree. I think that children this young went through that. Around the world, children are still being treated like this for garbage reasons in this country as well. And I think it's a privilege, actually, for children under 16 right now to watch a movie like this, because they don't have to live through it, but they should learn and look at this and see what other people went through and how good they have it, and that they can watch this and learn. This is true. This is truly the kind of things that were happening back then. And if children don't start learning these things at a young age, they're just going to become the way that a lot of us and our parents became, because American history in this country has been completely whitewashed and made us seem like this amazing country when we've done so much messed up stuff. And I think it's important that we learn about the truth from a young age. So I disagree with the woman. Oh, I want to mention this word for word. The daughter, so there's a boy and a girl who are the children of a head guy in the Nazis. I don't know the right term. And he doesn't tell his family really what's going on. His wife doesn't know what they do. They have 2 children, so the younger boy is the one who kind of doesn't understand why people hate Jews, and then the older girl is a teenager, maybe 14, and she does, and she's easily been brainwashed, and she word for word in this movie came out a while back, 2008, 2004, I don't know, but a while ago. Word for word, the daughter described her father, who was killing Jews in gas chambers, as making the country great again. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Next, onto a brighter note, Cougar Town. I rewatched this. I watched Cougar Town all the way from beginning to end, like right before the final season aired, and it's just really funny. It's really easy to watch, but I did notice, like this time around watching it, how problematic the first season is. There's a lot of like sexist comments, racist comments, fat shaming. Like it's kind of like how like the Friends jokes were. Like if you watch Friends now, it's funny, but like there's some things you're like, oh, like yikes. That's kind of what happened here, but this was 2009, so like it did get better by like season 3, I felt like, but I feel like the reason that it was not okay, but like no one talked about it being problematic was because I feel like it came out right before Twitter became a thing where people could like share their feelings and their sensitivities or whatever about TV. So I feel like by season 3 people could do that, and then the show was like, okay, let's speak a little more PC. But yeah, it's on Amazon. Next, HBO Barry with Bill Hader again. Another dark comedy. He plays an ex-Marine who is a hired assassin, but he wants to be an actor. Oh, it's gold. It's like a very ridiculous, funny version of Dexter, kind of. It's really, really, really funny, and apparently he wrote and directed it. I didn't know that, but I'd watch it. It's really good. I think there's only 2 seasons so far, I think. 13th, if you haven't watched it, watch it. It's a documentary on Netflix. It was in their like Black Lives Matter content, and I'm surprised I hadn't watched it already. I thought I had, but I didn't because I watched it and I had not watched it before. I really recommend it. It's a really quick documentary too. It's not going to be like taking up your whole day or anything. There's a lot of stuff to learn in that I haven't learned before. There's some stuff that I felt like I did know. It's very educational. It is hard to swallow. Like it's hard to accept that these things happen. But I think people, and I think white people in general, really need to watch this because I feel like we're so easy for us to like turn a blind eye and like just turn away from this and not like look at it and think that we can be better by ignoring it, and that's 100% not true. Something something in it that really shocked me was about the prisons. We don't see prisons. We don't, every day, at least not where I live, do you drive by a prison? Have I ever visited a prison? No. So you don't really see how they are and how high the numbers got so fast. Like when they show you a part in the movie where like the numbers of people in prison in America, like whoosh, it's absolutely insane. I also didn't know about crack and cocaine being the same but in different forms, and how crack comes with a higher sentence because it's cheaper and because most of the people who used crack were black, and cocaine was more of like a high level like rich people drug. Like what? I already knew about how the justice system was obviously aimed to help out people who are rich because of bail and all those things, but like it's just so much worse than like you even think it is. It's just really messed up. On a lighter note, Dating Around season 2, it wasn't as good and diverse as season 1. It does have a lot of different sexualities and races, but I liked season 1 had like an old couple and I thought it was so cute. It's pretty much like one person goes on a blind date with 5 people, not at once, but like individual 5 dates, and then they have to pick the person they want to go on a second date with, and I just think it's cute. And you can look it up online, like who they end up with and like if they're still together and stuff. I thought it was really cute. Love Victor on Hulu, which is like a spin-off of the movie Love, Simon, which is a spin-off of the book. It's the same, kind of. The book was way better than the movie, but the TV show was really good. I thought it was so cheesy. In the first episode, it definitely was cheesy, but it actually feels a little bit more authentic to teenagers right now than the movie did. Although the way he talks to his parents, the main kid, what is his name, Victor, the way he talks to his parents is a little like whoever wrote this has not talked to a teenager in 10,000 years. I really loved that. It was cute and it was funny, and it's definitely a nice thing to watch, and I think a lot of people would enjoy it. It's a quick watch, it's funny, and it's sweet, and it's kind of just about teenagers dealing with what they deal with. This one really disappointed me. It's with Natalie Portman and Lily Rose Depp, called Planetarium. It was on Netflix. It's a pre-World War II Paris, 2 sisters who are psychic, kind of, and like what they go through. And I thought it was gonna be really good, but it wasn't. It was like mostly in French. Very, very slow. I actually started falling asleep, so I turned it off. I watched Princess and the Frog for the first time ever. I think the reason was because it came out right before the girl I babysit for really got to like into princesses, so once she was watching stuff, it was like this just like came out right before that, so like it had passed by her, and at that point I wasn't really watching Disney stuff on my own, but now that Disney Plus is around, I watched it and it was really cute. It is definitely an underrated Disney movie. I liked it, but it wasn't as amazing as people made it out to be. What bothered me was that Prince Naveen was voiced by a white actor who played the Carver in Duck, and it just threw me. But I really like Tiana's character. I think she may be one of the best, I guess, princesses, right? Yeah, right? She's definitely one of the best characters of a Disney princess in all of Disney. I really loved her character. I think she's a great example for young girls, and I also really like that it takes place in New Orleans, because I love New Orleans even though I've never been there. Next, Where the Crawdads Sing is a book. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's been on the New York Times bestseller list. My cousin actually gave it to me for Christmas, and it's not what I expected, to be honest. It definitely was very slow in the beginning. You don't really know where it's going. Like, it's just, it goes from this girl being like 4 years old all the way to like end of life. And like I said, it starts really slow. I couldn't really picture the characters, but it gets way, way better. I found myself wondering if it became a movie, if it would be like a lot of backstory like the beginning, or if they would kind of skip through that and get to the end. Like some of these like books that become movies, like they do all the backstory and then the end really good part they like speed through it. So I was thinking to myself, like, what are they gonna do if they did make this a movie? It was really good. It takes place in a swamp kind of, and it's a little girl who kind of, her mother leaves, her family leaves, and she's stuck with her abusive father, and she kind of has to raise herself in this swamp, but she's kind of happy with it. She likes being there. She thrives off of it, and it's about her interactions with people in her town, and how people view her, and how she relates to other people with everything that went on with her family. It's really good. Right now I haven't finished it yet, but I'm listening to the audiobook of Becoming by Michelle Obama. It's definitely better than I expected. I don't know why I thought it was going to be like an inspirational speech, but it's more like her life, which I thought was super interesting. I like that it's her reading it too on Audible. The Prestige is really good. I watched it with my boyfriend. He had already seen it and he knew I would like it, and I did. It has Christian Bale, Hugh Jackman, Michael Caine, is that his name? I think. It's pretty much two magicians in, I don't even know what time period, who are at war with each other. They pretty much want to outdo the other one. And they go through all these things. They like blackmail each other and like screw each other over and trick each other. And it's really, really good and really like thought-provoking. Like, things happen and you're like, shoot, I wish I had picked up on that. And like when you look back, you're like, ah, yes, that makes sense now. It's really, really good. I recommend it. 2 more. Don't worry, this video is gonna be over at some point. Bloom season 2. I'm not done with it. It's an Australian show starring why can't I think of her name? I've done a get look for her. Haley from the originals. That's what I'm gonna say. It's fantastic. Season 1 was so good. Season 2 is just as good. It's pretty much about a town in Australia where a flood hit and a number of people died, and a year later these flowers grow where they died, and if you eat one you become young again. And that's all I'm gonna say. It's freaking fantastic. I feel like America just doesn't make shows like this. It was so good. And then I just watched a movie last night called Desperados on Netflix, and it's really funny. It has 2 people from New Girl. It was really funny. It looked like from the preview it was gonna be like a very like just cheesy rom-com on Netflix, and it was, but it was really funny. Like, I laughed out loud quite a few times. I'd watch that again actually. So that's the last one. Thank you. Oh my god, that took forever. I need some water. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about these movies or anything, or what I recommend or whatever, leave a comment down below. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you soon. Bye.